guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I thought we would just sort of do some frequently asked questions that I get as a small business, especially a crochet small business in the UK. So if you see me looking down, it's because I have a long list of things just so I don't miss anything. So if you're interested in knowing things about UKCA testing, my materials that I use, all sorts like that, then continue watching. So to start off on a strong one is, what materials do I use? Now for yarns, I really like to use Bernat blanket yarn. I always have. It's sort of been my go-to since I knew about testing. And then recently I have invested in some Yarnsmiths yarn, which I got the chenille type and the snug as a bug. And I've really liked working with both of them. Obviously, I still have my favourite, which is Bernat blanket, but it is a nice change. Like, I wanted to make some pride bees, and the colour range in the Yarnsmiths one was just a lot bigger. So I kind of bit the bullet, bought some yarn, and it's done really well. It's held up great. I've done the testing on it and it's done pretty good, I'd say. For a yarn that sort of is meant to shed, it's held up really well. So definitely recommend that if you want a good colour range. And then for my safety eyes, I personally like to use, I think it's Tactile Crafts or Tactile Crafts. I don't know, I need to look at it. I buy from them so frequently, but I'm dyslexic, it's fine, just leave it. So I buy my safety eyes and my felt from there. They have a lot of compliant like just things and bits and bobs, like rattles, tebas, anything that you can sort of think of, they have there. I also get my little plastic keychains from, so if you ever see my main bulk of keychains that I make, they all have little plastic key rings. I get them from there too. I will link them down below because they are a really good company. The people are lovely. Like, I can't fault them at all. Anytime there's been an issue, they've resolved it immediately. Not that there really is any issues, but I think I had one time that they sent me the wrong like size safety eye by accident. Sent it back, they sent me mine perfectly fine, no issues whatsoever. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. The glitter safety eyes at the moment are under review. It's sort of like a sell at your own, on your own terms. They are compliant, the materials and like the safety chemical side of it. However, people have had a lot of issues recently with them popping out or not going in properly. So they are sort of under construction. That's sort of a work in progress one, that one. And then my stainless steel ones, I did so much research to find these. I managed to find some. They have them on Amazon as well. They're Panda Haul, they're 304 stainless steel keychains. They have to be stainless steel, they have to be uncoated, they have to be fully stainless steel, so they are compliant. It's just one of the rules. So I only got them recently because they are just one of them things that it's so difficult to find the correct ones. Obviously people, you need to ask around and see, but I had to email so many companies and be like, hey, are these uncoated stainless steel? And the amount of people go, no, they're coated, and it's like, oh, okay, so they're not compliant. Next question is, what is my personal cheapest item that I sell? My cheapest item that I sell is my warrior whales. They are tiny little stress ball whales. They come with a little card that just explains what they are, and then my tags as well. So another question that I get quite a lot and have had it a lot recently is, how do I do my tags? So if you don't know, I have little swing tags on my plushies. I have one here to sort of show you. I will also upload, either in the description or on the screen, I will put the like template that I have made, that I had made ages ago to send someone to let them know how to do stuff. But essentially, this is what they look like on the other side. Now, I've got a list of the things that you need on there. So your business logo should be on there. You also need your business name, your business email, where it's made. So on my one, I have my logo on the top. I've got the UKCA like logo to show that they are tested. I've got Faithful Creations, then I've got my email, then I've got handmade in the UK/West Sussex. You can't really see it because it is very small, but all this information has to be on these tags. and then I have an abbreviation of my address of where they were made. Then I've got the model number, which is like personal to what you want to have in your documents. So for this one, it's a small octopus, so it's SO91 because it's the 91st of the small octos. Obviously I haven't made one because he's not attached to anything. And then after that you have all of the materials that you use. So I've got the polyester filling, UKCA tested safety eyes, if there is any on toys, because some of my toys don't have safety eyes, some of them like the chickens and the capybaras, they don't. And then I also put in brackets there is felt on the inside to keep the eyes secure, and sort of how big the toys need to be to have the UKCA like sewn on tag in them. Then I have care instructions, so can be washed on a low heat, preferred to be hand washed, don't tumble dry. Then I have the price on there. This is just the layout of my card personally. It doesn't have to be in this exact layout. I just found this to be the best one for me. So then after the price, there's a little disclaimer because I obviously have an online shop as well. The prices might differ because of different website fees, market fees. It really does depend. Then this is something that always has to be on there. It says, please remove tag gently before first use and retain it for the future reference. That's just so people have your information so that if there is any issues, they can contact you immediately and get things resolved. So that is my tag. I designed this myself on Procreate and then I got them printed at Banana Print. They are really, really good. I really haven't had many issues at all with them. They've been pretty quick as well. They're a really, really good turnaround actually. You do them and they come within like 24 hours. So if you need tags quickly, definitely do it through Banana Print. So I do apologise if the camera angle has changed ever so slightly. My storage got full and I had to just delete a bunch of things. But moving on from that question is, what is UKCA? Now, UKCA testing refers to the safety requirements to legally sell handmade toys in the UK. I will also say, do not take everything that I say as verbatim, okay? Do your own research. I am not a reliable source. This is just my interpretation of it personally. So Google, go on the government website. They have information on there that is really, really helpful. Tells you all the requirements you need when it comes to chemical testing. So yeah, just sort of bear that in mind. I'm not the most reliable source because this is just one person's viewpoint on it. So there is a couple questions that kind of coincide with the UKCA testing sort of questions. So one of them was, can I sell my toys as decorative items? Now this one is a very, very tricky one. I've had many people come up to me and say, well, I don't have to test because mine are decoration. But they aren't. To put it bluntly, if a toy has play value, or something you've made has play value, let's take away the word toy. If I was to, okay, this isn't something I've made. This is a pillow. This has play value. It has a face. A child is going to see this and want to play with it. So when you take that, you can't just stick a label on it that says it's not a toy or not for children under 14. If something has a happy face on it, resembles something that kids like, it is a toy. It's not a collectible. The only way you can have something as a collectible is if you have actually designed it like that and it is stuck to a, let's say, wooden post. It can't just be classed as decorative because you don't want to test. At the end of the day, it's people's safety at risk. If a baby was to get hold of that toy, is there a risk of the safety eyes coming out because they're cheap and from, I don't know, a silly brand that don't care about that? Like, there are plenty of people that just ignore the trading standards and think it doesn't apply to them, and it's not okay. It needs to be something that's taken more seriously. I know there's plenty of people who don't know about testing, and the amount of times I speak to my customers at markets because they always say, oh, your things are really expensive, and I usually go on with, well, they are all tested, they are made by me, I safety test them, every single product has been tested. And I'm not saying, like, this is another question that people always ask is, are these safe for babies? Obviously, buy at your own risk. That's with anything. Anything can become a choking hazard if it breaks. So you do have to bear that in mind if you are someone who's buying them for a baby. However, on my end, I try my absolute hardest to make them as safe as they can be. I repeatedly test the eyes. If I've had safety eyes that I didn't like and I just stopped using them, I actually have them here to show you. I'm not going to show the brand of them, but these are the safety eyes that I just use as decoration items. They're just on my shelf in the craft room because these backs are not sturdy enough. They just aren't. They don't grip onto the safety eyes the same way that my ones I do use. They just don't grip the same and they come out really easy. I'm not saying super easy, but with the weight test that you have to do, they do come out, and that's not safe, and that's not something that I want to put out there, so I don't use these. I have hundreds of safety eyes in my room, like my craft room, that are just, they are compliant chemically, but I'm not using them because personally the safety aspect of them coming out is too high of a risk, and I don't want that. I don't want to put that sort of product out there. So yes, always double check things to make sure that they are okay, and that's why I always say, just because something does say it's tested, always double check things like that. And that's why I say buy at your own risk. Obviously some people might have them safety eyes. I personally don't like them. I think they come out way too easily, and the ones that I do use stay in, like, they are amazing. So it's just one of them things, you just have to double check. The next one is UKCA testing difficult? Now, it definitely isn't an easy process when you first start out. It's very confusing. If you do what I did, I bought the Conformance pack. I can link it down below for you, so you just go through there. I think the price has gone up slightly for it, but it's really beneficial. It's really helpful. So what you get in it is a step-by-step guide on how to test them, or how to test your products. And you get a copy of all the documents that you need, and then you just change out the information on them for the product that you're testing. It just makes it so much easier. I say easier because it is still a difficult process and it is a lot to take in when you're first doing it. But once you get sort of into doing it and have done it a few times, it just becomes part of the process. When you make a new product, it needs to be tested. And that's just the way it is. And moving forwards from that is, what does testing consist of? Now, I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail because the testing does take a while, but the main ones that I've sort of just bullet pointed here is the weights on the seams and the safety eyes. So you will have to get some big clamps. Well, they have to be a specific size, but the clamps, you hang them on the seams. So if there's the body part and the head, you'd need to test that weight with, I believe it's 9.2 kg of weight. I usually do a little bit more just so I can be 100% sure. So I do the main weight and then I add more just to make sure that I am fully safe with my seams, that I'm sewing things correctly, that they're not gonna snap off or rip, and it saves a lot of hassle. The next one is the drop test. So you have to drop the plushie from a certain height so the eyes are facing downwards to see if they crack or shatter at all on impact, and you do the exact same with a weight. You drop that onto the eyes as well from a height, and it's just to see if they crack under pressure. Again, it's just a safety requirement that's needed. The next one is the washed and unwashed test for flammability. You probably, if you've come from my Instagram, you'll sort of know that you need to burn your plushies by now. It's very sad when you have to burn them for the first few times, especially when they're big items. But again, it's one of those things you kind of, when you've done it so many times, it's a sort of a thing at the back of your mind. Oh, well, I need to make 2 of these to burn, and it's just part of it. And then the next part is the small part cylinder. So they give you like a little template, and it's of a little tiny cylinder. It's essentially the size of what a baby's mouth and throat would be. So it's just to see if your plushie is small, does it fit in that cylinder? If yes, it's a choking hazard, doesn't pass. And it also goes for if something has broken off, like let's say a tentacle for an octopus. If that's broken off, does it fit in that cylinder? If the answer is yes, your toy has failed. If it doesn't fit in that cylinder, it can still pass because it's not a choking hazard. So it's just sort of, it goes into a lot of detail in the Conformance pack of what you have to do and the reasons why it's done. But that's just sort of my quick brush over on it, just to sort of make people more aware of it. The next question is, what yarns are compliant? Now, there is a huge list. I'm going to list a few that are mainly like plushy ones because that is what I do. I will leave a link down below, or I will list some different ones, like acrylic ones and cotton ones down below. But these are the ones that I have here. So there's the Flutterby yarn, that's good. There's the Jelly Baby yarn and the Jelly Baby glitter, that's also. Then the Yarnsmiths yarn that I obviously mentioned earlier. Bernat is compliant. Then there's Hobbii Rainbow and Honey Bunny. King Cole Yummy, Utopia Crafts, the Cuddle and the Velvet, Hello Love yarn, and there's a couple more like Parish Drops, that's a cotton one. I'll leave a list down below of the ones that I would recommend and have sort of used, because I have used quite a few of these yarns in the past. It's just that I went for the ones that I preferred, so it's just sort of what you kind of like. There's a fly flying around the room at the moment. He's going towards the light now. So another question I always get, mainly when I'm at markets, is how do you find these markets? How do you get into them? Now, all I can sort of say is just do a quick Google, markets near me, artisan markets near me, craft fairs near me. It's your best bet. Just give it a Google. I also like to go on Facebook, like my local groups. If there is a market going, or a craft fair, or a school like Fate, they will usually always post, hey, we're looking for stalls, contact. It's as simple as that, really. When you sort of just Google it, and there'll be ones that pop up near you. There might not be ones really close, but there will still be some somewhere. Next question is, do I do lessons? Now, I don't at the moment. It is something I'm considering in the future. However, I'm not great with public speaking or talking to people. I find it very difficult even to film videos. But potentially in the future, I might do lessons. I'm happy to. I show people at markets how to do stuff. If they question like, oh, how do you do this stitch? I'll show them how to do it then and there, because I always bring my yarn with me. But actually sitting at, like, I don't know, people were saying do it in a classroom. They do like after school clubs, and people can come in who aren't obviously related to the school at all, like they don't have children there. They've said, oh, you could do it here, and I go, that's great, but sitting at the front of a classroom and teaching it, I don't know, that's very intimidating to me. So it's something I'm considering, and also it would be difficult for pricing because I'd obviously have to provide all the materials. So you'd have to pay for my time, my skills, which I don't charge for my skills in my actual products. And I'd have to bring the materials. I don't know if I actually said that already. There's a lot more that I'd have to actually account for, if that makes sense, like my petrol. I don't know, it's difficult, it's a difficult one. But maybe. This one sort of goes on from what I was saying before about, are your toys safe for babies? Yes and no. I do test them to be safe for babies. That is why I test them, so that they are safe. But again, buy at your own risk. If you are one who's not too sure about safety eyes, then you don't have to buy them. Like, it's sort of self-explanatory. The next question I always find really, really funny is people message me saying, hi, I've made some plushies, can you test them for me? No, not really. I do my business by myself. I do all my testing myself. I don't have time, and also you should probably test your own products. Next question is, why are your products so expensive? And I just have to say, that's sort of an opinion. Like, some people say, oh my gosh, that's so expensive, whereas other people go, oh my god, that's really affordable. So it's just sort of based on people's opinions. But I do have an answer. I wouldn't say my things are majorly expensive. That's just my personal opinion. But that's because I see, I guess, what goes into it. So I've sort of broken it down. I charge for my time, minimum wage, which is fair enough. I do this for a living. I should be able to make a living out of it. I charge for my materials. I do it by weight. So everything that I do is weighed. All the prices are broken down, like per gram of yarn, per gram of stuffing. My safety eyes, I just do them as a flat, like I think it's 50p per pair, so 25p an eye. Although I think I did get these ones cheaper, so I have reduced the price slightly. Then I charge hardly anything, but for the UKCA tags, I have the sew-on tags, and I have my little swing tags, which I showed you earlier. I hardly charge for them really, it's like a couple p. Whereas the UKCA like sew-on ones are actually 17p per like tag. But I say I don't really charge for them because in my mind, yes, it is a cost that I have, but it is also a legal requirement to sell them. So it's like a catch-22. If I don't have it, I can't sell it. So to keep my cost or the product price as low as possible, I don't really charge for my packaging. Next part, people always say that it's expensive, but I don't get that full price. 20% of that is tax. I've added the tax. It just makes it a lot more simple for when tax season comes around. That money's already there. I don't need to scramble to get my taxes. That money's already there because it's been accounted for. It just does make it so much easier. And my final question that I always get, say mainly at markets, is do you make all this yourself or where's your supplier? And my answer is always the same. I run my business by myself. Everything is handmade by me. It's just how it is. And people are always very shocked because I do make quite a bit of products, but I do this full time. So it's easy for me to make a lot of products because this is what I'm doing. Yes, there's times when I'm filming videos or just content in general or uploading things on my website that takes away from that time. But overall, I can get a good amount of stock. I think I worked out my average that I can make a week if it's bigger items. I say bigger items, like the medium items. I think I can make about £500 worth of stock, which I don't think is that bad going for a week. And then I make that money back from the time I've spent at the weekend. So yeah, that is all of my questions that I've sort of had a lot of recently. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask them down below. I know it's a bit of a weirder video. I'm sat in a completely different area. I have a ring light and you can see the reflection of it in my glasses. I do apologise, but I do need my glasses to see. But yeah, that's just sort of the questions that I get quite a lot. I say, if you have any more, I am happy to answer. I've always said I don't want to gatekeep. So if you did enjoy this video or actually learnt something from it, please let me know down below. I'm not going to ask you to like or follow. If that's up to you if you want to do that. But yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.